Hello, my name is Adequate Star, and today I'm playing Risk of Rain 2. When I first started playing Risk of Rain 2, I played pretty much exclusively with friends. One friend of mine had basically every item unlocked, as well as both DLCs. So early on, I got used to having access to every item without having the necessary achievements. One item in particular was among my favorites, Jester of the Drowned. What it does is fairly simple. It's a lunar item that reduces the equipment cooldown at the cost of activating that equipment the instant it becomes available. And that cost, sometimes not even a cost. If you lower your equipment cooldowns enough, you can be constantly buffed by certain equipment. And the supposed downside is also great for me, as I am horrible at remembering to click the equipment button. After a while of playing Risk of Rain 2 with friends, I began playing it alone, and I eventually began the slow process of going for achievements by myself, and thus lost access to the Jester of the Drowned as I didn't have the achievement required for it. That achievement, the Demons and the Crabs, requires you to kill 20 hermit crabs by pushing them off the edge of the map. However, hermit crabs only spawn on 2 stages, Abyssal Depths, which has no edges to push the crabs off of, and Titanic Plains, after at least one loop. So, playing as Rex and using Directive Disperse to push the crabs off without them taking damage, I looped to Titanic Plains and began pushing some crabs. With that over, now having access to Jester of the Drowned, I decided to do a run with the Artifact of Command enabled in order to use the Jester of the Drowned for the first time in a while. Quick note, apparently my microphone wasn't recording for any of this, so I will be commentating over the footage. Alright, so welcome to I tried to figure out what I was doing in the run, and I think it's been like a few months since I did this. But anyway, I'm starting by doing the Halcyon Shrine here, and I'm just killing the stone golems. Eventually, I believe that is 2 greens. No, sorry, 2 whites, 1 green. I get a fuel cell, tougher time, Soldier's Thread. The latter 2 are just useful. Fuel cell because I plan to just use Jester of the Drowned and get my equipment cooldown as low as possible. Here's me fighting the Stone Titan. Not much to say here, it's going rather quick. And with this new green one, I get an old guillotine because it's just a nice item to have while playing Acrid. So this is the moment, I believe, where I get the Jester of the Drowned. No, actually, this is where I get the tonic, which is the equipment I'm using with Jester of the around. Because if I get the equipment cooldown low enough, I can practically constantly have the buffs. I don't know why I rerolled there, considering it's Artifact of Command, but regardless, I'm just picking up all Jester of the Crowns. Alright, so we move on to stage 2. It's just moving around. The enemies, here's another item. I get Tri-Tip Dagger here, and here's where I start to do the teleporter. So it's Beetle Queen, and I go through this pretty quickly. And with this next green item, I get a Leeching Seed, because I need a bit of healing to sustain this. Case in point, I get a Harvester's Scythe, although it's a bit of a weird choice at this point, because I don't have any Lens Makers. But regardless, I start fighting the Clay Doomstrider, and in the time it takes me to say that, I kill the Clay Doomstrider. And with this green item, I get a Southstar. And then I proceed to use it on the common cast for this level and get, I believe that is 2 more Tri-Tip Daggers, and this is probably a 4th, yeah. At this point I go back to getting lunar items, but this time Purity, because I like having low cooldowns, although this does somewhat throw a wrench in things, because I'm currently building for Bleed Chance, and so I need to get to the point where I have 100%, because Purity makes you unlucky, and so I essentially need to just get enough that my Bleed Chance is 100%. This also makes my decision to take the Harvester's Scythe just worse in general. Although I believe I eventually start going for Lens Makers. Here's a legendary chest I found and decided to start saving up for, although I ultimately decided I couldn't after killing the boss and just got more Tri-Tip Daggers. And that's the point where I got 10 of them. And with this, I decided to go for Crit Chance so I could build that up to 100 and not be affected by Purity. Here I go to the Bulwark's Ambry, because I still had some artifact achievements left over that I hadn't done yet. Now that I have since finished all of them since making this video, and all I can say is that the Bulwark's Ambry it was a fun experience the first time, but not since then. It takes quite long. The real reason the timer is paused is so you don't see how much time you're wasting. But regardless, I complete that trial and move on. In this stage 6, I do a Halcyon Shrine. This is probably a good time to mention this is of course speculation, but I don't think I was going for anything specific. For the ending, I think I was just trying to see how far I could go. But anyway, I'm not sure why I keep taking Harvester's Scythes. I might not have known at the time that the crit chance the Harvester's Scythes gives doesn't stack. It just gives you 5% once instead of 5% each time you take it. But regardless, that'll eventually become useful when I have enough Lens Makers. And speaking of, I now have 10. And I get another old guillotine. I then go back to the bazaar for some reason. Well, some reason is just to take purity. If you see me like turning around after getting each of them, this is because I kept trying to go and test to see if I could constantly use my shift move, or if I needed to get another purity. After this last one, I do believe I have it. It was either the shift move I was looking at or the R move, but regardless, I think I'm able to just spam both now. So now here's 2 Stone Titans, but I decided to get items anyway while doing this, which is an interesting choice on my part, but when I do decide to lock in and like actually fight the Stone Titans, it goes by fairly quickly. And I'm getting a lot of noxious thorns. This is to just generally sort of spread poison and spread the bleed. Yeah, I mean, not much else to say there. I do see armor-piercing rounds. It appears I'm trying to do a bit more damage. It's sort of weird trying to sort of figure out what I was doing when doing this, because of course I apparently wasn't recording my mic, so you have to deal with my speculation on whatever I was doing. Here is Horde of Many. I'm just looking down and spamming my R move. I mean, not much to say, but yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say, like, at all. Like, I'm just pressing the button. It looks potentially easy, but for now, I get a Warhorn, which is nice, because I'm pretty much constantly activating my equipment. I get another Sales Fire for some reason, which is a sort of a weird choice, because I don't get the benefit of having multiple due to purity. Here's an important part. You see that debuff in the bottom left? That disables healing, and I don't notice it, which leads to me dying, because I didn't notice that I had stopped healing and was in spam the R move mode, which ultimately led to my downfall when I lost all my health. But yeah, that's it for this run. After that, I didn't do anything with that footage for about a month. Then the new DLC released, Alloyed Collective, so I decided to try it out for the first time while recording. You can probably figure out how much I've procrastinated editing this by looking at when the DLC was released. Here is my genuine first reaction to the new DLC. Also, by the way, this is the first segment of the video where I actually recorded audio when originally recording. Due to the fact that I have changed mics since, I sound slightly worse in the following footage.
Okay, Alloyed Collective is out yesterday. I bought it today. I'm using the new character. Just Drizzle, no artifacts. Best way to learn the new character is by playing the new character. So, let's get into it. Oh, the drones have names. I do think the mobility of this character is nice. Like, you can launch yourself into air and then do this as well. Okay, I'm just gonna try and find one more chest to use the Sales Star on. There. And then I will teleport. Okay, so now I suppose I want to wait to find a large chest to use the Sail Star. I didn't know the Sail Star would activate there. But yeah. I read it as chest. It says chest, I just didn't know the barrels counted. Been a while. I'll just keep going. I haven't, besides the new character, I haven't ran into any of the new DLC stuff. I'm going in, like, purposefully blind, but not seeing anything. And as I say that, huh? What does that mean? Oh, so that's a virtual orb appears with, like, knowing how those messages, like, knowing that, like, there's the blue orb appears, or the green orb appears, or the gold orb appears messages, there's now going to be a portal. So, that will definitely be what I do after teleporter. Ooh, legendary? Oh, that's a new thing. Pickups grant a stacking bonus to all stats. Open a barrel to find a minor pickup. And now I just need to find the teleporter. And we get to, like, the DLC content, because right now all I'm seeing is the new survivor, the new item. Alright. Oh, so there are two bosses if you activate the orb. Huh. Disappointed that you can't launch any of the bosses. Oh, it also gives, like, a Shrine of the Mountain type item. Like, more items. Alright, so we're going through this portal. Conduit Cannon. Oh. I really like the vibe of this area. Okay, so it's a different looking Shrine of Combat. The vultures? Okay, so I'm surprised the enemies aren't entirely alloy collected. Did I just see that, or were my items disabled for a bit? Oh, I saw something back there. Okay, so I need a sentry key. where I can find a sentry key, I'm not sure. I really like the mobility options this character has, because you can like launch yourself and then do the shift skill to go further. I'm also realizing I definitely should have realized that the equipment barrel would have been affected by the Sail Star because of the big blue circle shown. Oh, I didn't even. I can select that. I didn't realize that was a like a selection panel. Okay, so that's another sentry key location. I'm gonna just go with a small chest. Oh! That was a very good small chest. Oh, Hiker's Boot. Striking enemies from a higher elevation grants critical strike chance and damage. Huh. I'm gonna check. Is that elevation higher? It doesn't say. It doesn't say if it's just higher elevation, like relative to the world, or relative to the enemy. Oh, that's a sentry key. Oh, that's another sentry key. Okay, so now I just need to get into here. Do I have enough? Alright. Oh, we did get that sentry key. I didn't. Oh, and there's another over here. So the sentry key move speed buff does not stack. Okay. It's teleporter time. Oh. Alright. That was cool. I really enjoyed that sequence. And it looks like it continues. Oh, what is that? Oh. Cutscene. Soulless Wind. The Alloyed Collective. So I'm not dealing nearly enough damage as of right now. Wow, that's a very useful temporary. I'm just gonna aim for that top center. Okay, yeah, that's good. Flip slide, gain a small temporary barrier when the skill comes off cooldown. Okay, now we aim for the bottom left, I think. Okay. Now the boss is definitely harder. It's getting harder to survive against these attacks. Cool boss though. No, no, no. No. Okay, I just barely survived. Okay. Oh, that's Redmond. Okay, I'm guessing I should do something about this. Oh, I forgot I had that. Yeah. Dang. I got really close, but not quite there. Okay. Just taking a look at the challenges, but I think we run it back. Dang, I've got both uncommons from these small chests. No single common? Okay, I'm gonna try and move at a quicker pace this time, because I think what messed me up there was, I mean, in addition to not knowing how the boss fight worked, I think what messed me up was the fact that I'd spent so much time in the prior levels, specifically the New Alloyed Collective one, that I just... the difficulty had scaled too much and I wasn't getting enough items. Didn't have enough items to keep up, so... yeah, I'll do the shrine. Oh, more Berserker's Pauldron, which is nice because I got Berserkers earlier and it was very fast. I perhaps should not have done Shrine of the Mountain. That is something you tend to realize after you do. I imagine this will be the last run for today. Unless I die to the Shrine of the Mountain. But surely that would never happen again, right? Tougher times is good. Yeah, I'll exchange my tougher times for tougher times. Ooh, Halcyon Shrine. I'm just gonna do the Halcyon Shrine now, because I know that's gonna take a lot of time, and if I wait around trying to get more chests, it'll only add to the time, and we want the timer and difficulty to stay low. And there's the boats. Right. Alright. And now we pick up the chests back here. I really want like a crowbar so that like the ricochets do more damage. I forgot I did the grind map. Just gonna focus one of the beetle points so that minions stop being spawned more. A lot of great utility items, but nothing for damage. Okay, so I may have forgot about, you know, how I had a Sail Star and how that was an equipment barrel. May have forgotten about that. This new item seems like it'd be good for builds that just completely lower cooldown. Because, like, when my main thing recharges, it's giving me barrier even if I already have a charge. So, like, if you had, say, what was it? The item that gave you like 2 more charges of your shift and allowed you to decrease the cooldown, that would give you more barrier from the Eclipse Light. But look, I'm really bad at making a coherent build when I'm not playing Artifact of Command. So, right now it's just food for thought. Anyway, I'm just gonna go directly to the teleporter. And of course, it is the Doom Rider again. Alright. So I believe the portal to the Alloyed Collective thing should show up next stage. Yeah. I definitely want to unlock the other new survivor. It's always the case that as soon as I hit the teleporter, I run off into the distance and immediately find another chest. But I believe that's a thing. Yeah, let's just get right to the teleporter. That's very good. And a monster mob. Right. Going through the portal. Okay. I did notice after my first run that in order to get the second new survivor, there's something about a vault in this area, which I saw one thing that looked like a vault. I will take a random legendary. Okay. I'm gonna complete the teleporter and then go back to see if anything has changed. I feel like I'm not dying because of this vault, but I just cannot find it. Well, that's it. I really need to figure out where that vault is.
My insane ramblings about a vault that doesn't exist aside, like seriously, did I really misread the Drifter unlock quest so badly that I saw a solutional hunt and thought, yeah, that's probably Conduit Canyon? That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Tell me if you want to see something like this again. Goodbye.